Recording has started message. So I want to welcome everyone to our weekly Tuesday morning community update. This is Commissioner Dave Yamamoto. Today is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, and we will call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. So before we get started, as we always do, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. So again, welcome everyone. Let's go through our commissioner's roll call. Commissioner Scar, are you with us?
Good morning, I am here.
Good morning. And Commissioner Bell?
I believe she still has that class.
Yeah, I think this was the third week of her Tuesday morning class, so Commissioner Bell is not with us this morning. We would go to Adventist Health Tillamook, but I got an email from Eric Swanson that Eric was not going to be able to join us this morning. So we're going to go directly to the Coastal Caucus. Now, I see Representative Weber. I'm not sure. I see Representative Gomberg. And I don't know if we have Senator Anderson or Senator Armitage. But at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to the Coastal Caucus.
Why, thank you. Rep. Gomberg will not be here today. He's on his way down to Yachats for a meeting concerning tourism on the coast. And so he's busy this morning, and he sends his regrets.
Understandable.
Yes. Kind of chilly this morning, wasn't it?
It's you can tell that fall is upon us.
Yes. When we got back from walking, it was 46 degrees on my back porch, and I still have tomatoes that need to ripen. So I'm kind of concerned about this weather. They give us all of these 80-degree weather days in Portland. We need just a little bit more warmth to ripen all the tomatoes.
There you go.
This was a busy week. I attended the candidate forum last Tuesday in Pacific City, and it was very interesting, and it was a really good turnout. And it does my heart good to see how many people are interested in finding out the positions of the people that are wanting to be elected. I also did an outdoor school tour and got to see how it all works up in Rockaway at the Friends Camp. It was really interesting to see the depth of what the students are learning and to see that wonderful camp being used so well. Later on, after when I was on my way out, there was a whole group of people coming because there was going to be a cross-country meet. And so, what a beautiful space, what a good use of it, and education is so important, and outdoor school is so important. I also attended the Regional Solutions meeting in Astoria because Astoria is working to expand its Columbia Memorial Hospital, and the facilities, and they're working with OHSU, have really brought new vitality to the hospital area there, and their hopes are to build a whole new hospital. And it was really interesting to see all of the plans that they have going forward. I also got to talk about the Amazon cable and how that is progressing, and the fact that we're not hearing a lot about it, but it's happening, and the folks that are doing it have done it all the right way is really refreshing. I also had meetings with people who own log trucks and companies that are hauling logs, and with Trucking Association, to talk about all of the challenges that our truckers are having, especially with the cost of fuel right now. And I'm really hoping that we will have some resolution to all of the problems on Highway 6, and all of the arteries, the main arteries that come in here that provide us with everything that we need. And the other thing is our farmers have needs, our loggers, our lumber people have needs, and the truckers are there to provide it. And so I had very interesting conversations on those issues. We've got a great opportunity for the community to once again support our law enforcement people on Wednesday, starting at 4 o'clock at the Dutch Mill. There's going to be a fundraiser for Shop with a Cop. I have been to one of those events where the kids were able to shop with the cop, and to see the joy for students being able to provide Christmas presents for their family and for themselves. And I think it is a very worthwhile cause. And I really applaud our law enforcement folks for going forward with this every single year to see that kids have Christmas. Also downtown this weekend, there's going to be a harvest festival at the 2nd Street Plaza. I can hardly wait to see how this is going to turn out. There's been a lot of work that's gone into it, and now with our farmers markets not being available in the area, it's going to once again be a good opportunity to get into our downtown and see what's going on and participate and also enjoy all of the businesses in the surrounding area. So I think that other than the committee meetings that I've had that have been talking about housing disparities, and the committee meetings I have coming up to continue to talk about that before we have Ledge Days in December, I think I'm finished with my report this morning. I'm going to get a chance to be on the radio again with Lisa this morning. And I want to thank KTIL for doing this on a weekly basis. I know, Commissioner Yamamoto, that you thank them every day, but there are community members that wait for this report and are eager for it and appreciate it. So thank you.
Representative Weber, as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you're doing, everything you do for Tillamook County and the Pacific Northwest. Really do appreciate it. Do we have any questions for Representative Weber? Suzanne, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Do we have Marlene Putman and or Ed Colson with us this morning?
Well, good morning, Commissioner. This is Ed Colson here. Good morning, Tillamook County.
Good morning.
Good morning. So as of October 6th, the impact of COVID-19 disease in the Tillamook County community is low. We have 3.9%, and that's per 100,000 of hospital admissions related to COVID-19, and 2.2% per 100,000 of staffed inpatient beds occupied by a patient with confirmed COVID-19. Now, the impact is low in the county, but the spread of COVID-19 within the county is high. We've had 23 new COVID-19 cases and a test positivity rate of 28.13% recorded in the past week. Now, the CDC provides these measurements per the CDC COVID-19 community levels map, and that's a tool to help individuals make decisions about their personal risk and safety. Now, with a low impact of COVID-19 in Tillamook County, the CDC recommended actions include staying up to date with your COVID-19 vaccines, get tested if you have symptoms, wear a mask if you have symptoms, a positive test, or exposure to someone with COVID-19, and wear a mask on public transportation and in healthcare settings. Individuals may also choose to wear a mask at any time as an additional precaution to protect yourself and others. Now, as noted last week, this year it is particularly important to get your flu shot with the expected high flu rates this winter. Additionally, recent OHSU forecast shows COVID-19 cases increasing with a peak in November as we head into the cooler months. Now, to help keep yourself and your community safe, we strongly recommend everyone 6 months and older to get a flu shot, and anyone 12 years and older get a bivalent booster as soon as possible. Bivalent boosters are currently approved for those 12 years old and up. Now, a bivalent booster for those 5 and up should be available in the coming weeks. It's currently just waiting on final approval. It's also safe and convenient to receive the flu vaccine at the same time you receive your COVID-19 vaccination or booster. So you can schedule an appointment at a health clinic or pharmacy in Tillamook County, or you can drop by one of our upcoming walk-in COVID-19 and flu clinics, one of which is a walk-in immunization clinic occurring today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the fairgrounds. If you can't make it today, additional dates and locations available are on our website, tillamookchc.org. Now, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's a month to stand united in support of survivors and raise awareness of the ongoing advocacy and justice initiatives to hold abusers accountable and train healthcare professionals to recognize signs of domestic violence early. In addition, tomorrow, October 12th, it is Health Cares About Domestic Violence Day, a day for healthcare workers to wear purple and to show their support for survivors and awareness that relationships affect health. Now, throughout this month, Tides of Change is hosting engagement and support activities, so please join in on the support by putting up purple lights in your home or business, posting a sign that you support survivors, and wear purple, as well as attend a Shine a Light for Survivors event downtown on October 20th. So you can visit tidesofchange.nw.org for details on activities and events. And that is our community update for the Health Department. I'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Good to see that things are still going well in Tillamook County, although we do need to be concerned and aware of the COVID issue. Do we have any questions for Ed Colson? Thank you again, Ed, for being with us. Let's move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Do we have Gail Nelson with us this morning?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
A couple of announcements, and our weekly walking groups are continuing through October every Tuesday at 9 in the morning. For more information, please visit our website, reinhardtclinic.org, or Facebook page for details, and TillamookCountyWellness.org for details on other walking groups across the county. And a pharmacy update. We were recently made aware of a letter that has been sent to some subscribers of Moda Health RX, indicating that the Reinhardt Pharmacy was no longer participating in their network. Well, this is not true, and you should be receiving a letter from Navitus Moda notifying you that they sent out inaccurate information. A contract is in place, and Reinhardt Pharmacy is in network for Moda Health RX subscribers. And again, we are here to serve you. If you are interested in scheduling an appointment with one of our medical providers, including behavioral health providers, please do give us a call at 800-368-5182 for more information or to schedule an appointment. And thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate you being here this morning. Any questions for Gail Nelson? Thank you so much. Let's move on to the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Cannon Williams. Frank.
Good morning, commissioners and all.
Good
Frank
morning.
Cannon Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. I want to say that if you have concerns about appointments, interested in appointments, or any other information regarding the agency, you may call. That is 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. I want to just hit on just a couple points here today. Number one, that there's a lot of attention focused on vaccines, vaccine availability, availability for flu shots, and that's a very important thing. And we in our staff meeting had some discussion not only about that, but also that this also is a time in which I'm encouraging my staff to have some conversations with persons that we see that if for some reason at this particular time you are not connected with a primary care provider, that our partners, Adventist Health, Tillamook Community Health Centers, and the Reinhardt Clinic are able to talk with you about providing that service. And again, we're talking about some extra things, but also sometimes people have not made that connection with a primary care physician place where they can get that care. So I'm continuing to encourage our staff to make sure that they have those conversations with people that they see, and that is an important part of health education. And then I'd like to just kind of close on. I talk from time to time about our QPR, question, persuade, refer, suicide prevention intervention. I like conduct a QPR training within the Stucca district. And as I'm looking over my notes this morning, I see that 23 people were trained yesterday. So it's a significant number of folks in one training, and indicates how important concerns related to suicide prevention are. So finished with my report for today, and I will take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Frank. Do we have any questions for Frank Kenner-Williams? Thank you so much for being here, Frank. Let's move on to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brown, are you with us?
Good morning, I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. So I don't really have anything to update the community this morning. I apologize for that. I will say, kind of tagging on to what Representative Weber said about Shop with a Cop, this is a great event. I know deputies and staff, as well as city police and state troopers, look forward to this all year. It does help out families in need, which is a wonderful thing that you know is great about this community is our ability to come together and help each other. So I know that the Dutch Mill is hosting the fundraiser portion of it. So if you're hungry and you want some good food, head down to the Dutch Mill, support this program. It's great, and we do look forward to the day that we get to do it. It's like I said, it's always a fun day. So other than that, I can take questions, but I don't really have anything else to speak on.
Thank you, Sheriff, for being here. I do have one question, Sheriff.
Sure.
So I was in Salem yesterday for the AOC meeting, and then I had to address the Near County School Board. And so I was going from Pacific City north, and there were 3 state troopers that went flying towards Pacific City. Do you have any idea what was going on in that area?
Yes, I do. Actually, last night about 4 o'clock, it seemed like the floodgates opened up. We had a report of a possible structure fire. We had a crash. We had multiple medical calls, all seemingly in South County. But what I can say is, speaking to why you saw so many state troopers, a state trooper had, I believe, stopped or contacted a subject, and that subject took off and eluded him on foot. And so he called for Code 3 cover, and multiple troopers, and I believe even a deputy, responded to help out. The subject actually jumped in the river and was swimming down the river, so they were watching him. They got a boat, I believe. I cannot speak to the end result of it because I did not actually get the final result of it, but that is why you saw so many state troopers heading that way, as they were trying to catch a subject that ran.
Well, that's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you know, it is exciting. Obviously, that's something that we don't want. You know, there's a danger or a risk that is associated with that. But yes, it definitely is not every day that a situation like that pops up.
A little out of the ordinary.
Yes.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any other questions for Sheriff Brown? Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's go to emergency management. Randy Thorpe. Randy, are you with us?
You bet I am, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning to all. First of all, I just wanted to let you know I was able to attend the annual Oregon Emergency Management Association's fall conference last week. Very good conference, lots of good breakout sessions. One of them, the Department of Emergency Management with the state held a breakout session on recovery. And it was really interesting because they talked about, start off with the FEMA efforts during our recovery efforts after a disaster, and about how certain thresholds have to be met in order to get that FEMA funding. And a lot of times the thresholds aren't met, or individuals and businesses just kind of slip through the cracks. And so what the state is doing, the Department of Emergency Management, they're introducing two separate bills into the legislation for next year. They're both set to create state-funded assistance to provide for recovery after a disaster. The first one deals with individual assistance. That's a you and me thing. And they're trying to set aside $10 million in this fund. The second one is to create a funded public assistance fund, and that would help your businesses and other infrastructure to recover from a disaster, and that is $20 million. So they've gone through the first few steps of getting these bills introduced, and hopefully they will be able to be voted on during the next legislative session, because something like this I think would really help out individuals and our small businesses in their recovery efforts. And tomorrow, ODOT is holding their yearly District 1 pre-winter ops meeting up in Astoria, and that will be an interesting meeting to attend on that to see their plans for the winter. And we're holding our famous Tillamook County Winter Preparedness Meeting this Thursday. First one for a couple years due to COVID. It's going to be at 10 o'clock Thursday at the Conference Center there at the main one at the Port of Tillamook Bay. We had to change some times on it due to the fact that the National Weather Service is inundated, of course, with requests for their presentations, and so we had to kind of work around their schedule too, and so we had to move that one up to 10 a.m. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Chief Murugh did us a big favor. He went and actually drove to Salem and picked up 15 of the air scrubbers, filtration units that the state was able to give to Tillamook County. This is only half of the ones that we've been assigned, but he went and picked up 15 of them and was able to deliver them to all of the locations here in central Tillamook County. And man, it was a great effort on his part. The state was really surprised that we had a cooperator that would actually drive and pick those up. So that just kind of made the county look fairly good, especially Garibaldi Fire Department. We still have, like say, some more to deliver the south and north ends. I'm trying to get that coordinated here so we can get those units moved out here in the next few weeks. And of course, this was a program through the Oregon Department of Human Services. They acquired quite a bit of money to purchase some of these filtration units. And talking with the state during this conference, Tillamook County basically took more than their share of these air scrubbers, and they're happy to give us even more. So they were very happy that we were one of the few counties that is actually taking advantage of this program. So anyway, hopefully we'll get that warm weather so we can get those final garden items harvested, and hopefully we'll have a light winter. We'll see how the weatherman's predictions go this week. And that's all I have.
Super. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that very much. And we're going to go to the Board of Commissioners. And I know Commissioner Scar has an 8:30 meeting. And I didn't think we were going to make it, but we're going to give Commissioner Scar as long as she needs. I know she's got an 8:30 meeting. But Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Thank you. Well, at least you all know that I won't spend more than 5 minutes since I need to be out of here. So just a few things. So it has felt like a very busy couple of weeks. Last week, I traveled to Bend for the League of Oregon Cities Conference, where myself, along with City Manager Leanne Welch from Bay City and our Housing Coordinator, TJ Fiorelli, were part of a presentation team talking about House Bill 4123, which is the Coordinated Homeless Services Project that we are a part of. As I've talked about it before, the 8 counties across the state of Oregon that each received $1 million to create a coordinated homeless services system within our county. We are at this point being held up as one of the counties that is really doing a great job. And I think the basis for that is that we have the county and we have all 7 incorporated cities signed on to work on this project. Additionally, we have started the work to form our community advisory committee and some very specific task forces. I'd like to call out and thank the sheriff. He has been instrumental in setting up a task force specific to law enforcement. It was the first mini task force, if you will, that has started to meet and feed information back to the community advisory group that will then begin to create the strategic plan. So we will have additional task forces meeting, including those in the areas of behavioral health, in the areas of medical, in the areas of education, just a variety of sort of very specific focus areas that can feed information back to our advisory group for creating that strategic plan. So excited to say that that work is continuing and that Tillamook County is being held up as one of the pilots that is probably, we're not the furthest along, but we are definitely one of those that is toward the front of the pack, which is always exciting. I also traveled this week to Salem yesterday for the Association of Oregon Counties Legislative Committee and then the Board of Directors for AOC. I had a chance to hear from each of the steering committee chairs to talk about what were the priorities that we have set going forward for legislation in the upcoming session as the 36 counties. There are a lot of bills out there, and so AOC is really an important partner for Tillamook County. We do not have our own legislative staff. We don't have anyone at the Capitol that is really educating legislators on our behalf. We do that as your commissioners, but it is a big industry out there to get legislation passed. And the piece that AOC does for Tillamook County is they have folks at the Capitol regularly talking with legislators, vetting bills, finding out what has been introduced, how that may impact different counties, letting us know the impacts that we may be seeing to give us an opportunity to go and advocate for ourselves, as well as advocating on our behalf. This is a huge piece of what your commissioners will be doing for the next probably 9 months, because we are currently preparing for the legislative session that will kick off in January, and we will be actively monitoring bills, following bills, testifying for and against bills as it relates to our county, what would be beneficial to us and what would be detrimental to us. So what we heard yesterday that was a little overwhelming is that at this point, the first deadline for submitting bills to the legislature for the representatives and senators was the middle of September. There will be additional opportunities for them to continue to put legislation in, but as of now, there are roughly 3,500 legislative concepts that have been submitted and maybe turned into legislative bills. It's one of the things about the long session is that there is no limit on the number of bills that can be submitted. So your commissioners, along with the Association of Oregon County Supportive Folks, will be vetting these bills. We'll be looking at what is impactful to us, staying on top of that, and advocating as we need to. One other quick thing, and then I will run to my next meeting, but I also sit on the board of Northwest Senior and Disability Services, which is an organization that represents 5 counties, one of which is Tillamook. But this organization has an office here in Tillamook, and they provide services for seniors, services for adults with disabilities. If you are looking for getting connected to Medicaid as a senior, if you are looking for help in your home as a senior or as a person with a disability, this organization can help connect you to those pieces. One of the other things this organization has and does is advisory committees, both a senior advisory committee and a disability advisory committee. And these are important committees, again, as we head into the legislative session. There will be many, many bills that are introduced during these sessions that will impact services to seniors and services to those with a disability. These advisory committees are an opportunity for folks to get involved and be part of that advocacy, either for or against as needed. So if you are someone that has a strong heart connection to seniors and the services of seniors, if you are a senior yourself, similarly, if you have a heart connection for those with disabilities, or perhaps you have a disability yourself, and you would like to be a part of the voice that both impacts legislation at the Capitol as well as services in this agency, please reach out to me here at the Commissioner's office, and let's chat about what those committees do and how you can get involved. All right, with that, I'm going to jump to my next meeting. Thank you, and everybody have a fabulous day.
Thank you, Commissioner Starr. And you know, I am one of those seniors, so I think maybe we need to have a conversation. I think she's gone already.
Oh,
okay.
no, I was muted before I laughed at you. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much. So, I have spent a busy week also, and I know Doug Olson is on the line, and we'll be getting to him in just a couple of minutes, but I went to the Pacific City Nestucca Valley Chamber meeting last Tuesday, and it was a terrific candidates forum that was held in Pacific City. Almost the entire meeting. We went long. Normally our meeting is an hour, maybe an hour and a half. This meeting went for 2 hours. The questions kept coming and the candidates kept answering. It was a terrific candidates forum. So I'm hoping everyone had an opportunity to be there. I spent the end of last week in Ashland, and that was for the Oregon Telecommunications Conference. That was a terrific event, probably 500 people or so there. It was full of information. I am a member of OBAC, the Oregon Broadband Advisory Council, and we had our first in-person meeting in a long time, a couple of years at least, and we held that meeting Wednesday afternoon at the conference, and it was a great meeting. Almost all new members. I am one of 2 returning members to OBAC, or the Oregon Broadband Advisory Council, and so it was great to get back in person so that we could really get to know each other, learn how we work together. Again, it was a great meeting, but the Oregon Telecommunications Conference Thursday and Friday was terrific. Great speakers. Doug Olson was also there. John Luquette from Tillamook Lightwave was there, as well as another 500 people from around the state, around the country, actually. So it was a great event. On Monday, I also attended the AOC monthly meeting, where we had our legislative conference and board of directors meeting. Was a great meeting. Again, we're getting back in person, which is really important. Having, especially with new commissioners, new people in positions that are reporting to us, it's just great to be able to see people, look them in the eye, have conversations with them in the hallways, and that's where most of the business gets done. Is with the conversations that we have during the lunch break and things like that. It's terrific. I also want to point out, I'm not sure how many of you out there get a magazine called The Other Oregon, a Voice for Rural Oregon. I'm looking at the fall 2022 edition, and on the cover, A Voice for Oregon Agriculture is Tiffany Monroe. And I know Tiffany because, and you've heard me talk about Tillamook Working Lands and Waters a lot. It's a terrific organization, grassroots organization that we have here in Tillamook County. It's all about education and how we educate the public. But Tiffany Monroe is important here because she is the grassroots coordinator for Oregonians for Food and Shelter. And that's the group that basically brought the idea to Tillamook County and to many other counties around the state on putting together these types of grassroots organizations that really support and talk about and educate about our natural resource-based industries here in Tillamook County. And it's great to see her on the cover of this magazine. I'm hoping if you don't If you don't have it, maybe the libraries have this magazine, The Other Oregon, and you can look at this at the fall copy, and I think you'll be amazed at what's in this magazine. One other thing, I was very proud to be able to address the Neocony School Board last evening, and unfortunately I didn't have great news for them. We, of course, they're concerned about their budgets. When we harvest timber in the Tillamook State Forest, that timber revenue goes to the state. The state keeps 36% of that money to fund the Oregon Department of Forestry. The rest of it comes to Tillamook County, and people think, wow, Tillamook County, what do you do with all that money? Tillamook County keeps less than 25% of that timber revenue money. The rest of it goes directly to 20 special districts in Tillamook County. One of those special districts, of course, is the Neocony School District. So I had to talk about the Linn County case and how the Oregon Supreme Court refused to hear our appeal from the Court of Appeals decision. And it's just incredible to me. Historically, the Oregon Court of Appeals and the Oregon Supreme Court have been very reluctant to overturn a jury verdict. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore, which is, to me, very, very sad. So I had to give them that bad news, although, of course, they had heard about it. And then we started talking about the two other things that we're actively working on, and that is the HCP, the Habitat Conservation Plan, and soon the state will be looking to update the FMP, the Forest Management Plan, to go along with a potential HCP for the state. There are so many issues there, and again, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but there is the Private Forest Accord, which is going to have its own HCP, and then the state forest lands, which are going to have their own HCP, and the update to the Forest Management Plan. So many things going on here, and none of them are really in support of sustainable forestry in the state. So there are some problems. We continue to work on it, and we think we have a game plan in place, and so we will continue moving on with all of that information. I want to address one other thing. Representative Weber talked about the Amazon cable. It's coming in across the Pacific Ocean, and I know you've heard me talk about fiber to the home, and we're intimately now working on that. And one of the great things that has happened is Amazon. They have been so cooperative with Tillamook Lightwave and our contractors. As we bring this cable in, it's going to go north into Tillamook and then east over Highway 6. This is the first time that a company has offered off-ramps off of their fiber network so that we can hook up underserved and unserved communities along the way, which it's just a great relationship that we have with Amazon as they work on their cable. It's going to go over Highway 6. They have offered they're going to hook up the forestry center on Highway 6. They're also going to hook up the prison camp on Highway 6. And you all know about the issues that Representative Weber has been talking about, and the legislation she got passed in the last session, a study bill for Highway 6, one of the most dangerous highways in Oregon. And they're currently in conversation with all three major cell phone companies. Now that they have fiber up there, Amazon is offering to offer them off-ramps if they would put cell towers up on the top of Highway 6. Again, there's so many accidents that happen on Highway 6, and what has to happen is someone has to either drive back over east or down the hill west until they get a cell signal to let so that they can let emergency responders know that there's been an accident up there. So having a cell phone tower or two or three at the top is gonna really help things moving forward. So we are seeing a lot of movement finally with fiber. our desire to hook up everyone, fiber to the home. We're working towards that, and I think we're well on our way now, which is perfect. So with that, I need to shut up, and let's move on to the cities. City of Manzanita, Mike Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't have a report today, thanks.
Thank you for being with us, Mayor Scott. City of Nehalem, Melissa Thompson Kiefer, or anyone else from the City of Nehalem? How about the City of Wheeler, Mayor Doug Honeycutt or City Manager Mary Johnson? City of Rockaway Beach, Mayor Sue Wilson or anyone else from Rockaway? City of Garibaldi, Mayor Tim Hall.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to be able to attend the League of Oregon Cities annual conference in Bend this last week. It was a great opportunity to hear from neighboring cities, their challenges and opportunities, and many of the issues that they're dealing with. There were quite a few workshops on homelessness that allowed us a few tips to deal with these issues. Also, the conference involved not only mayors, but city managers and also city councilors. So it's a great opportunity to sit down with fellow elected officials and city managers to hear about what they're working on. Also, this Saturday, the 15th, from 11 to 2, there's going to be a Meet the City Council candidates gathering for folks who want to talk to some of the councilors and candidates for the city council. And as I said, from 11 to 2. One of the things that Garibaldi was fortunate, we received from a direct descendant from Giuseppe Garibaldi, a historic oil painting of Garibaldi that will also be shown at the Garibaldi Museum this Saturday from 11 to 4. So this is an opportunity to see this historic painting of Garibaldi that he actually sat for. Also on Saturday from 1 to 4, the Garibaldi Fire Department is holding an open house. So residents and friends of the fire department can actually come down and talk to the volunteers and our staff to learn more about what they do, and also to discuss the possible levy that the city has on the ballot. That's all I have for this week.
Mayor Tim Hall, thank you for that. That was a great report. And that original painting of Captain Garibaldi, that's something I think that everyone should see. That's terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
City of Bay City, Mayor David McCall.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, so good to be here. Thank you. So the only thing I have to report is that tonight, starting at 6 o'clock, we will be having our regular city council meeting in the city hall with also a dial-in option. So, we invite everyone to tune in, participate, and be informed about what's happening in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor McCall. I believe Nathan George, city manager for the city of Tillamook, is not able to be with us this morning. So last but certainly not least, South County, Doug Olson. Doug.
Oh, good morning, Commissioner. Are you hearing me this morning?
Yes, good morning.
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, we did have a candidates forum sponsored by the Pacific City Nestucca Valley Chamber last week. Excellent turnout, almost standing room only. And I guess the message or the takeaway from that is you're going to be able to vote here in a couple of weeks, and hopefully you learned something that you didn't know. But thank all four candidates for showing up and basically opening themselves up to a wide range of questions. And that's the way it's supposed to work in America, and it surely worked well here. So thanks to all for that. Second item, I'll put on my PUD director hat and mention, as you did earlier, that several of us attended a conference in Ashland related to broadband. And I guess the takeaways from that is, first of all, there's more federal and state money out they're available to organizations advancing broadband across the region than anyone can remember. It's sort of like rural electrification 80 or 100 years ago when rural areas finally got electricity. Well, the aim now is for rural areas to finally get fast broadband. Someone at the meeting, I think one of the speakers said, you don't have much trouble getting broadband and pretty good service in downtown Portland or Salem or Eugene, but you may not have options at all or even any internet availability in the rural areas, particularly upper River Canyon that we have in Tillamook County. So we'll be working on that to get our hands on some of that money and be able to bring high-speed internet to folks who don't have it now. The second takeaway is the technology is advancing rapidly like technology does. For example, speeds now that are adequate, I guess I would say, are going to go up by a factor of 10 in the very near future, so it will be almost instantaneous. Now, that won't happen overnight, but it's quite fascinating to see what's happening. There are also a lot of companies providing this service, and I would expect, just my view is, some of those won't be around in a year or two or three. When an industry is in the growth phase, lots of people want in and try to get a piece of action. But sooner or later, they shake out and economic reality sets in, and so you have fewer companies. And I think that's what will happen, just my opinion. But in any event, Tillamook County was what presented at this conference. We're going to try to get to the front of the line to get some money and do some things for the citizens of Tillamook County. So with that, Commissioner, thank you very much. It's a beautiful day here in Pacific City, and if you're indoors, you really should take a walk outdoors. It's quite lovely.
Thank you for that, Doug. Appreciate you being with us. So with that, I want to thank everyone for attending this morning. But a special thank you to KTIL for broadcasting live this weekly community update every Tuesday morning. It's greatly appreciated, and I know many residents of Tillamook County also appreciate that. So with that, time being 8:47 a.m., we will adjourn this community update. Thank you, everyone.